Hi everyone, Ombute Devi here. If you are watching this channel for the first time, we are in the season of the Muladhara, the root chakra, and its main concern is for securing our survival and thriving. So I wanted to talk about a little bit also about the primary emotion, which is fear, and this is the primordial fear. That is associated with the Muladhara, the root chakra. And I wanted to share perspective on it. And just see what that might open up for us. Okay. And so many of us, when we have unresolved fear, it can be experienced as anxiety, like this sort of subchronic anxiety that comes up when we are, meeting some challenges, or especially then, right? But in all levels, in all aspects in our lives, it can come up. And the root of it could be this unresolved fear. And I'm talking about like primordial fear. And the fear then that is that existential fear, right? The fear of death. And so, we don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen, particularly, but we know it's going to happen. So if there are aspects of us, unconscious or subconscious or even conscious aspects of us that still has resistance to the reality of that, and it happens, so many of us have that. But if that is if that's active in us, we will most likely find ourselves in situations and circumstances that invites us to wake up to that reality of impermanence. And waking up, becoming awake to the reality of impermanence, is actually what opens up the sacred in our lives. And so an example of that is, for example, if we had the sunshine shining 24/7, we didn't have nighttime, we didn't have, darkness, then we wouldn't have the awe and the wonder and the beauty of the experience of sunrises and sunsets, right? We wouldn't have the four seasons, we wouldn't have the love songs that we have, and so the experience of awe and wonder and beauty in our lives is the gift of impermanence. So we are here to grow our love through the principles of impermanence. And I'm not saying that this is an easy thing to come to terms with, because it's not. But it is our reality in our human experience. So when we work with the Muladhara, we are able to unlock what it is that we need to learn from this fear in order to live more fully in the presence, with just the way it is, accepting just the way it is, and just the way we are, So when we start to understand this and learn to trust our deeper nature more, the relationship with this primordial fear changes. And so it lessens the anxiety, right? And instead of being threatened and so worried about this reality of impermanence, we are able to see our lives from a new vantage point. And this allows us to relax a little bit more and enables us to bring more of ourselves on board, right? And this is what it's all about, right? We're here to just breathe more of ourselves into this human experience, right? So much of this offerings is about that, clearing the path for us to land more of ourselves, right? By clearing these lower vibratory energies, these lower vibratory thought forms in the collective that seduces us away from our alignment, that seduces us away from our connection with our own source, right? So during our journey, when we are working with these practices and we are moving towards activating and stabilizing safety and security within us, those things that are not stable, that are not secure, comes up, right? And what is attached to that is not ours gets cleared away. And that allows us to receive ourselves with more clarity, from a more clear place, and from a place of more authenticity, right? So when fear is no longer like a default system, and it's more of a message to awaken courage, because that's what fear does. When we are in relation with the primordial fear, it awakens the courage in the heart, right? Because we move into it, we listen to the fear, and then it activates the courage, if we're really present with our own nature. And that's how we then are able to embody our core principles for survival and thriving. Yeah. And this is a very organic process. Everyone has their own unique experience with these practices, because you're as unique, upon yourself as these infinite experiences. So it really simply is, for me, more about simply inviting you into these practices as a sort of entry point, so to speak, an entry point into how to start to bring subconscious into conscious awareness, which is the power of healing, bringing subconscious into conscious, right? So again, the summary here is like, when we look at primordial fear, activates the courage within us. Open up the courageous heart. And threat and danger is perceived in the root chakra, in the Muladhara, right? Perceives it, and it causes these physiological processes in our bodies to engage, to start to move, and we experience that as fear. And what enables the Muladhara to perceive danger and fear is the love intelligence, right? That is seated in our hearts. Through the Muladhara, it perceives the fear. It allows the Muladhara to actually have the power to perceive, right? It's original love. So primordial fear is actually your love acting upon your being for your highest benefit, right? So just, so think about that when you're really working with these primordial movements in your nature, that you're made this way, and you're made from original love. So so I invite you to really get curious about your relationship with your nature and about these emotions, these primordial emotions that are within these centers for a very good reason, you know? So the ability then to accept things the way they are in you and soften a little bit to it actually just opens up your love intelligence to move more freely and more in more accord to your own needs and your own deepest desires. Yeah, so that's a little bit about primordial fear. All right, so much love here. I look forward to bringing another journey in the future to you, and we'll continue this journey. And remember, we are all doing it in our own unique way, and there's no wrong ways to do it. But we have 3 tools that I always recommend. Whatever you are cognizing, what you are noticing, give it some softness and your breath, and you'll have much more ease or much more success moving through it or transforming it in the body by itself, you know, by just opening up and softening into the body. So much love here. Bye bye.